Let's talk about expertise, the ultimate career goal, right? To know something so deeply, so completely, that you become the only person who can do it. But what if the more you know, the less freedom you have? What if becoming an expert is actually the fastest way to lock yourself in a cage? Stick around because I'm about to show you why expertise isn't the key to success. It's the key to your professional prison. We're taught to chase that. Become the expert. Be irreplaceable. What if I told you that's how you build your own professional prison? That your deepest knowledge becomes the lock on your cell door? Think about the person in your company who knows the ancient critical system. The one whose phone rings at 3 a.m. when everything breaks. They're respected, they're paid well, they're stuck. Because here's the system's dirty little secret. It doesn't reward irreplaceability. It manages the risk of dependency. Your expertise doesn't make you powerful. It makes you a liability that needs to be contained. Here's the real catch. The system doesn't just want to use your expertise, it wants to control it. But how does it do that without letting you see the trap you're walking into? Let's break it down. Pause for a second. Be honest. When a company modernizes, when it shifts to a new technology, what happens to the old guard expert? The legendary guru? Do they lead the charge? Rarely. Are they fired? Not usually. They're carefully preserved. Put in a glass case. Given a fancy title like Legacy Systems Architect, and then systematically isolated from the future. The system has made a calculation. You are both an asset and a threat. And the safest way to handle a threat is to put it in a controlled environment. But what happens when that controlled environment becomes a gilded cage? And what does the system really do when you start becoming indispensable? Let me break down how this works. It's a two-step registration process in the system's backend. Step 1, the value log. Every time you fix something no one else can, the system notes critical knowledge resides here. Step 2, the risk flag. Immediately after, it adds single point of failure identified, containment protocol advised. Your unique value is just an alarm bell ringing in the risk management office. So the system builds walls. Nice walls, comfortable walls, but walls all the same. You get your own budget, your lab, your team. You also get encrypted files, segmented knowledge, and a non-compete agreement so long it might as well be a life sentence. You're not the master of your domain. You're the most valuable prisoner in the knowledge vault. A strategist named Han Feizi saw this pattern in ancient courts. He said a ruler must use the specialist, but always fear him because the specialist holds monopoly power. And monopoly is just another word for leverage. The modern system is no different. It loves your output, but hates your potential to hold it hostage. So it does the logical thing. It turns your depth into your cage. You are given everything you need to do your one specific critical thing, and nothing you need to do anything else. I knew a scientist, let's call her Sarah. She developed a breakthrough process. The company gave her a star lab, a blank check, public acclaim. They also put her research behind 3 layers of digital security, split her team so no one else saw the whole picture, and made her sign a contract that said if she left, she couldn't work in her field for a decade. At her award ceremony, the CEO called her our most precious asset. She told me later, an asset is just something you own. The more precious it is, the stronger the lock on the door where you keep it. That's the expert trap. Your knowledge becomes so valuable, you cease to be a person. You become a proprietary system component. And components don't get promoted. They don't get transferred. They get maintained in their optimal fixed position. So, is the answer to stay shallow? To avoid knowing too much? Not necessarily. The answer is to see the game. Chasing expertise isn't a path to freedom. It's a negotiation for a very comfortable, very secure, very confined space. It's trading breadth for depth, and often trading your future mobility for present-day security. We've mapped the traps of flexibility and reliability. Now we see the third wall of the cage, expertise. The system needs your deep knowledge, so it will reward you generously to stay right where you are, doing exactly what you do. But this leads to the next, almost inevitable trap. If you're not the deep expert, maybe you become the opposite, the versatile fixer, the person who can solve any problem that pops up. That sounds like freedom, right? The ultimate utility player. It's not. It's a different kind of trap. In our next video, we'll dive into the problem solver trap. We'll look at why the person who's best at putting out fires never gets to design the fireproof building. But here's the twist. Why solving problems could be the very reason you're never seen as part of the solution. Don't miss this one. It's going to change the way you think about being the go-to person. Why being indispensable in a crisis makes you permanently part of the emergency response team and never part of the planning committee. If you're starting to recognize these patterns, if you see how the system gracefully, quietly turns every strength into a constraint, then you're seeing the architecture. And seeing the architecture is the first step to navigating it. Don't miss the next one. The puzzle is almost complete.